Even when you read what Melania posts from her autobiography called Melania, How I Met Donald, it's deeply disturbing. I mean, she talks about how in 1998, she went to this club in Manhattan called the Kit Kat Club. You've seen and heard me report on the Kit Kat Club before, right? That is where the wealthy Manhattan men met young Eastern European women. There was a specific individual named Paolo Zampoli who ran a modeling agency for young Eastern European women. He'd bring them to the Kit Kat Club and they would throw these parties, and Donald Trump was one of the wealthy Manhattan businessmen who showed up, and that's where he met Melania. He was with another young girl or woman when he went to the Kit Kat Club that night and met Melania, and she tells that story in this specific chapter. So let's just go through her background. Let's go through the chapter. You're going to be shocked by some of the stuff I'm going to tell you.
Do you really know Donald and Melania Trump? Many see them as a patriotic power couple, but the reality is much darker. Behind the smiles are hidden lies, crimes, and long-buried secrets. From Melania's fake degree and Trump's ties to Jeffrey Epstein, to illegal visas, stolen speeches, and multi-million-dollar scams, we have the evidence with photos, documents, and records to back it up. What you're about to hear could end Trump's career. By the time we're done, you may question everything you thought you knew about them.
And she posted the chapter, How I Met Donald Trump. And it's actually very disturbing when you read it because there are a lot of massive question marks in Melania's past. And well, Melania, since you want to volunteer this to grift off of Donald Trump's cover-up of his Epstein connections and the Epstein list, let's delve into it. Like, I think we should delve into, Melania, how you advertised falsely that you went to certain colleges that you never went to. I think you have a very suspicious background from Slovenia.
Melania claims she met Trump in a classy, romantic setting, but that's not true. They met at Kit Kat, a club where wealthy men sought young models. Trump even arrived with another woman but left her for Melania. The club's owner, Paolo Zampoli, had ties to Jeffrey Epstein, who was known for abusing underage girls, while Epstein's partner, Ghislaine Maxwell, was recruiting them for powerful men. Melania's version sounds innocent, but the reality is tied to a far darker world than next. You'll see just how deeply she was involved.
When Ghislaine Maxwell was working with Donald Trump to bring him young women. And this was talked about in the London Sunday Mirror, talked about how Ghislaine Maxwell, 1997, before any of the information about Epstein would get out, it would talk about how Ghislaine Maxwell would bring these young, beautiful women to Trump and these businessmen, and they referred to Ghislaine as Madame Maxwell is how they refer to her as. So just take a look at some of the photos of what Melania looked like when she was in Slovenia. Photos here, photos there. You see her right there. Now let's take a look at Melania's fake college degree. You probably forgot this story, right?
Melania often boasts about getting an Einstein visa, meant for top scientists and Nobel Prize winners, but she was a model, not an award-winning inventor. Experts say her story doesn't add up. It's more likely she entered on a tourist visa, worked illegally, and later married Trump to stay in the US. In 2016, Trump promised to release her immigration papers, but never did, likely because the truth would damage them. Both, if she'd been a poor immigrant from Mexico, Trump would have pushed for her deportation. But for Melania, the rules didn't seem to matter. And soon, we'll connect this to Epstein's private jet, where the story takes an even darker turn.
Take a look at how she describes meeting Donald Trump. And again, this was the time when Trump was as close as can be with Epstein. Hi, I'm Donald Trump, Chapter 5. On a Friday night in September 1998, as I settled into the comfort of my New York City apartment after a whirlwind trip to Paris, my phone rang. It was a friend of mine. My boyfriend is throwing a party at the Kit Kat Club tomorrow night, she said. Please come. We haven't seen each other in so long. I just got back from Paris. I said, please, it will be fun. A lot of people will be there. We'll pick you up. While I was tired and jet lagged, I loved the idea that my weekend was about to be filled with the company of friends. I have always been selective in how I choose to spend my time and where I put my energy. A late night party at the club was not my top choice for a Saturday evening. Just pause there. You were taking a lot of nudes at this time. That's what you were doing.
Photos showed Trump smiling alongside Jeffrey Epstein for years, and Trump even admitted Epstein liked beautiful women who were on the younger side. Flight logs reveal Trump flew on Epstein's Lolita Express at least 7 times, sometimes alone, without staff. Victims say these flights were used to bring underage girls to wealthy men. Later, Trump's name vanished from certain flight records, suggesting a cover-up. While other friends of Epstein faced justice, Trump walked away untouched. Next, we'll share the story of a 15-year-old girl and how Trump's own family helped hide it.
Trump was there with another young woman. He saw Melania. That's how they met, at the Kit Kat Club. It was not a place of sophistication. She starts dating him. She gets an Einstein visa in 2001. They get married and her visa gets expedited.
While many Americans struggled to pay their bills, Melania raked in $40 million for a staged documentary that skipped over her scandals, her fake degree, copied speeches, a legal visa, and Epstein connections. She's also made money scamming Trump supporters with $300 bracelets, worthless NFTs, and overpriced merchandise. This is the Trump way. Lie, cheat, steal, then sell those lies back to their followers. Trump calls immigrants criminals, yet his own wife broke immigration laws, but their time is running out. Next, we'll uncover the shocking $2 billion Saudi deal that may have been a payoff to keep Trump's darkest secrets buried forever.
Which you've since posted about, and you said you loved your nude modeling career. Currently, Russian state regime media is posting a lot of those nude modeling photos, and these weren't like the nude modeling photos that go into like the high art type of magazines. These were like the nude photos that go into the other type of magazines, if you know what I'm talking about. So then she goes, I didn't want to shy away from social gatherings. I accepted the invitation anyway. After all, it was Fashion Week, a time of glamour and sophistication. Like everything she says is such BS, right? I was actually looking forward to mingling with industry insiders and trendsetters. When I stepped into the sleek black limo, my friend arrived. I felt like a celebrity en route to a gala. As we arrived at the Kit Kat Club, the energy of the crowd and dazzling lights greeted us. The Kit Kat Club was not that type of club. It wasn't like a beautiful gala. It was kind of like a sleazy club.
Melania wants you to believe she was a top-tier fashion model, but the reality is very different. Russian media leaked old nude photos not for high-end fashion magazines, but for cheap men's publications. These weren't artistic or glamorous, they were explicit and low quality. While modeling itself isn't the issue, the lies are. She and Trump present themselves as moral leaders while hiding this part of her past. Even worse, the photos were taken while she was working illegally in the US on a tourist visa, breaking the law, while building the image Trump now sells. Today, they distract supporters with $300 bracelets and fake NFTs, while the truth about their past remains in plain sight, waiting to be exposed.
July 29, 2016, Melania Trump's website taken down after her degree claim is debunked. Melania Trump's website that had incorrectly claimed she had received a college degree has been removed, and the address now redirects visitors to the Trump Organization's website. The website's removal was first noticed on Wednesday by the Huffington Post. In a tweet Wednesday, she said that the website in question, created in 2012, had been removed because it does not accurately reflect my current business and professional interests, or maybe because it was false and fraudulent. The website had claimed that she had received a college degree before becoming a skincare entrepreneur and philanthropist. CBS News confirmed during the Republican National Convention in Cleveland last week in 2016 that her claim that she earned a degree in design and architecture at a university in Slovenia was false, not true.
At the 2016 Republican Convention, Melania gave a speech that seemed inspiring until people noticed much of it was nearly identical to Michelle Obama's 2008 speech. Line by line, the sentences matched. This wasn't a coincidence, it was plagiarism. When caught, Trump's team blamed a low-level staffer instead of taking responsibility. That's the Trump way: steal, lie, and shift the blame. The incident showed Melania couldn't even write her own words, yet she wants millions for her life story. All this happened while Trump was calling Hillary Clinton a crook. The hypocrisy is glaring. If Melania can't be truthful about a speech, why should anyone trust her book? Next, we'll reveal the truth about her fake college degree.
The Washington Post piece does a very good job explaining why Melania's story about her early work in the U.S. is hard to believe. Green card. Questions remain about how Melania received her green card. A Trump family lawyer said in an on-camera interview with Univision that she received her green card through marriage. In the recent letter from her lawyer, which this new AP story now confirms was full of falsehoods, Melania claims for the first time ever to have received an extraordinary ability green card, aka the Einstein visa. Few experts believe this is impossible. Few experts believe it's possible, given that she was never a terribly successful model. It remains my opinion that until we see her actual green card and application, we should assume she received her green card through marriage. It is the only option that makes sense, as her own lawyers eliminated the other likely possibilities. And imagine that Donald Trump's wife received a green card usually reserved for Nobel laureates, and he never once bragged about it in public, nor did she ever mention it in an interview or include it in her bio.
For years, Melania claimed she had a degree in design from a Slovenian university, a complete lie. CBS News confirmed she never graduated from any university. Her official website proudly displayed the fake degree until reporters exposed the truth in 2016, and then the page vanished. Why lie about something so easy to verify? Because her image was built on falsehoods, just like Trump University. Even the Republican National Convention printed the fake degree in their official program. When confronted, she brushed it off, saying the website wasn't accurate, as if that excused it. All this happened while Trump attacked immigrants as uneducated, yet his own wife lied about her education.
Melania Trump may have come into our country illegally, and how would that be for Donald Trump to be talking? Here's the only problem: she came in totally legally. I mean, so that's what I'm saying. All right, but you'll see it in a little while. I said to her, no, let it simmer for a little while. Let them go wild, let it simmer, and then let's have a little news conference and have some.
So she ultimately never addressed her green card status. She got married to Donald Trump, and she brought her family into the United States.
Melania claims she came to America legally, but official records suggest otherwise. The Associated Press found she worked as a model in New York while on a tourist visa, a visa that doesn't allow employment. That's a federal crime. Later, she secured an Einstein visa meant for Nobel Prize winners and world experts, not nude models. Immigration lawyers say her story doesn't add up. In 2016, Trump promised a press conference to prove her legal status, but it never happened, likely because they were hiding the truth. Now, Trump calls for deporting millions of immigrants, even though his own wife broke the very rules he demands others follow. Next, we'll uncover the real, unpolished story of how they met.
When I turned around, I noticed a man and an attractive blonde woman approaching us. "Hi, I'm Donald Trump," the man said when he reached my table. "Nice to meet you." I recognized the name and I knew he was a businessman or celebrity, but not much else. He put his hand out to shake mine. "Hello," I replied. "I'm Melania." His eyes filled with curiosity and interest, and seizing the opportunity, he took the seat next to mine and started a conversation. He asked me about my time in New York, my Slovenian home, and my world travels. It was a moment of connection, a brief encounter that left a lasting impression. It was nice to make a new acquaintance. He was accompanied by a beautiful date, so I initially dismissed our conversation as mere pleasantries exchanged at an industry event. The music was loud and the crowd boisterous, making it difficult to truly connect with someone.
Melania's book paints her first meeting with Trump at the upscale Kit Kat Club as a romantic moment, but the truth is far less glamorous. The club was known as a place where wealthy men sought young models for more than just conversation. Its owner, Paula Zampoli, had connections to Jeffrey Epstein's trafficking network. Trump arrived with another woman, but quickly left her for Melania. This was during his closest years with Epstein, when Ghislaine Maxwell was bringing underage girls to his parties. Melania's love story ignores all of this. The Kit Kat Club wasn't romantic, it was a hunting ground for powerful predators. She sells it as a fairy tale, but in reality, it's tied to one of the darkest scandals in modern politics.
So now Melania Trump sold a documentary on, she sold her story that I just read you, and there's more in her book, I suppose, to Amazon for $40 million. Jeff Bezos acquired the rights to that a few months back. I'm not sure who the hell would ever want to watch that, but she spent her time grifting, off of the Trump-related PACs. Her stylist, her hairdressers were getting tens of thousands of dollars a month from the Trump supporters. She would get speaking fees when she would speak at Trump-related events to the tune of significant six-figure fees. Whenever she would do interviews, she would demand that she gets paid, like when she demanded that CNN paid her $250,000. I don't think they ever did that if they wanted to hear her talk.
Trump doesn't want you to know this, but multiple insiders say that while he was president, he pressured officials to keep certain Epstein files classified under the excuse of national security. Was it really about security, or just saving himself from humiliation? Those files could link powerful names, and if Trump's is among them, it could destroy his brand overnight. The Wall Street Journal has hinted that more documents remain hidden, with the FBI giving them special handling orders. The big question: who gave that order? If you guessed Trump, you might be right. This isn't about protecting America, it's about protecting him. And once those files come out, his so-called Teflon image could crack faster than a cheap mirror.
And I give credit to Democratic Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett for bringing up Melania's background. Here, play this clip.
And since we're talking about integrity, I'm confused as to why my Republican colleagues aren't talking about the lack of integrity when it comes to the president's family's visas. Let me remind y'all that Melania, the First Lady, a model, and when I say model, I'm not talking about Tyra Banks, Cindy Crawford, or Naomi Campbell level, applied for and was given an EB-1 visa. And what's that stands for is an Einstein visa. Now, y'all that don't know, let me tell you how you receive an Einstein visa. You're supposed to have some sort of significant achievement, like being awarded a Nobel Peace Prize or a Pulitzer, being an Olympic medalist, or having other sustained extraordinary abilities and success in sciences, arts, education, business, or athletics. Last time I checked, the First Lady had none of those accolades under her belt. It doesn't take an Einstein to see that the math ain't mathin' here.
Stephen Colbert once joked, Donald Trump is so scared of those files, he probably sleeps with a shredder under his pillow. The audience laughed, but former staffers say it's not far from the truth. They claim Trump was obsessed with controlling any paperwork tied to his past, even demanding loyalty oaths from aides to keep quiet. One aide said, he treats his scandals like nuclear codes, no one's allowed near them, that kind of paranoia doesn't come from innocence. It comes from knowing those pages could be deadly, and it's not just the Epstein link. Sources say the files could expose Trump's secret business dealings, including foreign investors and hidden loans. If the public learns certain billionaires tied to shady networks helped bankroll him, the self-made image would collapse, proving he's been smiling for the cameras while cutting deals in the shadows. Experts warn it could make Watergate look like a kindergarten prank. The timing could be devastating if this drops during election season. It's game over. That's why Trump is fighting so hard to keep it buried. Some sources even claim he once tried to trade sensitive US information to block Epstein-related stories from surfacing. If true, that's not just corruption, it's a betrayal of the presidency and could put him in an entirely new category of criminal liability. The irony? Trump built his brand on calling other politicians corrupt, yet now his own empire is drowning in scandals that could make him the most toxic figure in US history. Once people connect the dots, the chant "lock him up" might just write itself.
Where the federal government failed Texas, the flash floods could have been dealt with so much better than how it was dealt with. And now they want to pretend they did a great job in Texas. But Melania and Donald Trump go out there, and this is what she posts. And she goes, "Forever love, Mystic. This bracelet will forever hold a sacred place in my heart, a quiet, shining thread to the young souls who now watch over us from heaven. Each charm carries the weight of their memory, the warmth of their presence, and will forever symbolize their love. Mystic is permanently bound through the joyous time spent together and the remembrance of their shared laughter." I mean, look, to me, the sentiments of remembering these young girls who died is so important, and my heart goes out to everyone who lost their family member. It is one of the most tragic events. But there's more that we should be doing as a country than posting bracelets and charm bracelets and things like when Donald Trump says you're an evil person if you ask what went wrong, and as you have Kristi Noem, the Homeland Security Secretary, say what happened in Texas was perfect, and they want to do that in other states, I'm like, just stop it. That's not what I'm sick and tired of the thoughts and prayers. Look at our bracelets. Let's take action. Government needs to work. What are we doing here? Let's actually help the people by trying to save their lives in the first place and taking accountability when things go wrong. How about we do that?
And this isn't some old scandal fading into the past. The investigations are still very much alive. Right now, journalists and whistleblowers are quietly collecting evidence, building timelines, comparing flight logs, and cross-checking financial records. Every clue brings them closer to a picture Trump is desperate to keep hidden. When that picture is finally complete, it won't trickle out, it'll detonate across headlines and social media like a political nuclear bomb. The question isn't if it happens, but when. And when it does, Trump's empire of lies, intimidation, and fake bravado could crumble in real time, live on TV. This isn't just about ending his career, it could mark the end of the Trump era altogether.